Hello, it's Sean Zine, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is Facebook Live number 42. Again, I talked about this earlier today. It's important to accomplish your goals and set goals, and this is one thing I've done is be consistent. And my guest, love it, following directions. Let's get him on, and we'll get things rocking and rolling. There you are.
There you are. Look at that.
What's going on, my man?
What's up? That's an interesting little trick.
You like that little?
You like that little?
I think your headset's kind of picking up some
echo. All right, you know what? I got a backup pair here.
Okay.
Just for that reason. So let me plug in.
That already sounds better. There we go.
Any better?
That is 100% better.
All right, awesome. I know sometimes the AirPods are a little funky.
Yeah, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Facebook can be a pain in the butt sometimes with technical difficulties, but that's when you're using a platform like Facebook that's so big that we got to play by their rules. So sometimes they don't like
exactly
certain things, so we make it happen. I wanted to again thank you for taking some time out of your day to drop some nuggets of information for our communities. And for those that are new to me and never, don't know about me because you're in Fred's network or ecosystem, as what some people say, I am the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. I, help people with their branding, video marketing, generating leads, and also insurance. Anyone that needs auto, home, flood, general liability, workers' comp, commercial auto, life insurance. So these are all opportunities I can help you with. And also title insurance and health insurance, all that I can get you to one of my preferred recommendation sources. So that's my little 30-second. And video, we'll talk a lot about it today, is tremendous for my business. And if you're not doing video, you're going to be behind the eight ball. So it's key for today to get that fear out and get in front of the camera. So, Fred, give us your little snippet of what you're all about.
Oh boy, a snippet. How much time do we got? So, back when I was 17 years old, I was actually a martial arts instructor.
Oh, cool.
So I did karate since I was 7 years old up until I was about 22 years old. And that was supposed to be where I was going to land. That was my passion forever.
Yep.
And then this little thing called real estate popped up. And I heard about it and I read some books and I thought, man, this stuff sounds really cool. Passive income, making money while you sleep and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I figured I'd try my hand with that. And wouldn't you know it, the past half decade or so has really just been a whirlwind for me. From the time I'm 24 years old now, from the time I was 18 to now has just been learning, growing, educating myself, getting investment properties, losing money, making money, and just enjoying the ride the whole way there. So I think that pretty much sums it up, kind of where I'm at. I'm like, at this point, I'm trying to come up with a cool title for myself, because see, you have like a really cool name, the Insurance Doctor and the Connection Machine. I need one of those for myself, because I'm like this like all-in-one real estate amalgamation right now.
So try to spell that one.
Exactly. I don't know if that name's going to stick or not, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm doing a little bit of everything in real estate under the sun that you can kind of think of at this point, and I'm loving every second of it.
No, that's awesome. When you have passion, that's great. You were into martial arts. My thing was baseball. That was my thing.
There you go.
I was going to be
awesome.
A major leaguer, and I was going to get drafted, and you forget that in school, I was in college, you had to do really well in school to play baseball. And I went to school to play baseball, not to do school. So that's kind of hurt me. So my dreams
I get it.
left. But hey, things happen, shit happens, and we got to move on. And you find other passions and other ways of helping people. And you've done the same thing. It's awesome. The process is really important to me. Like, it's more, getting to your end goal is fine, but I like working hard every single day to get to my goals. that are to help as many people out there as possible.
Absolutely. I love that because like it's funny. A lot of people, they get so fixated on the destination that they forget to enjoy the journey along the way.
Right.
You know, and oftentimes, especially like if you look at like a vacation or any kind of physical journey, the journey is typically much longer, at least in your mind, than the time that you actually spend at the destination.
Right.
You know, people complain about the traffic and about how long of a ride it is when they got this beautiful view of the sunset out their window or whatever. And I think that that sort of appreciation of the journey is the most meaningful and most impactful part.
100%. And for those that are watching, we love to help as many people as possible. So you engaging us, hitting that love button, hit that wow button, hit the share button. Let's help people that are in your networks. And also put a comment. Stop just watching us and stop, just listening. Engage, ask questions. Tell us in a comment where you're watching us from, what kind of business you're involved in. If you have a website, drop it in the comments. Let's all connect and help each other on a simple 30-minute live that we're going to do today. And we have Jeff Greenberg on, Joanna. Thanks so much so far. Those on a replay, hit hashtag replay. Any questions you have, we will get back to you later on, for sure. We're not all about the just dropping content and leaving. We're all about educating people. And I liked how we were talking before we got on, because we've never met, right?
No, never. But I see you on Facebook all the time, which is the funniest thing.
The benefit with social media is how you get to know people. And a lot of you don't use it right. They just, me. It's not putting out content about you, what you like, your likes and dislikes, and what you're going through, a journey. But that's the benefit. We're meeting for the first time face-to-face, not face-to-face like physically, but virtually.
Virtual high five.
And we're making things happen. We're all about educating and helping other people. And this is how you can do it. And, we were talking about public speaking. A lot of people have trouble with that. What do you have as far as any ideas or tips that you can share with people to get over those fears or just in general about public speaking?
So it's kind of funny. When I was 17 years old, I kind of recognized the fact that I had 10 years experience in martial arts, and I wanted to contribute a little bit more with martial arts than just going to 45-minute classes twice a week.
Right.
So I started working there as an instructor, and it was something that I just picked up almost instantly. It came very naturally to me, and a lot of people have told me, wow, you're a really good speaker, this and that. I could never do that, blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of funny for me because I never realized it was such a difficult thing to do. It was just something that kind of, like, some people are natural-born salesmen,
right,
as they say. I guess I was a natural-born speaker. And one of the big things I think with it, because it's kind of just internalized for me, but one of the big things I think with it is it just comes down to your own level of self-confidence.
Right.
And it's like you got to not be afraid to get up in the front of the room and act like a complete idiot and not care.
Yep.
Because that's really what teaching a karate class came down to, especially when you got to entertain 6 and 7-year-olds.
Oh yeah.
You're in the front of the room like just acting it up and putting on this show, and it's like at the end of the day you have to be confident enough to not care what other people think and just go out there and do it. And I tell people, because a lot of people have asked me, hey, can you coach me? Can you teach me? Can you train me to do public speaking? And I've never actually charged for it yet, which I probably should start doing, but that's a discussion for a different time. But I always tell them, if you're speaking, this is your room. You're in control. There's nobody else here.
Yep.
Right? It's what you're doing right now, and nothing else even matters. Right? But people, and especially when people are nervous, they get ticked off by the door opening behind them, or the person's phone that rang, or this or that, and that completely derails their whole speech.
Yep.
But it's like when you can just talk over that and continue everything going, it makes your life so much easier. I always used to use the example of the worst day at the karate school is a kid pees on the mat. Right? That's your worst day at work. So it was a great job because of that. And I always said, what do you do? I'm like, here's what I do. Okay, guys, we're going this way now, and just turn the class the whole other way. Someone else will deal with it, and keep going, right? And the show must go on. And I think that that's really the most important tip that anybody can take from it is that the show must go on no matter what happens. If a nuclear bomb goes off behind you in the parking lot, you continue speaking right through it.
Right.
Right? It's like it never happened.
I mean, a big thing with public speaking in general, the more practice that you have with it, the more confident you're going to be.
Yes.
It's just
yes.
important.
And that's everything in life.
Yeah. It's not, rocket science. It's the ones that are on the stage doing the big presentations have done it thousands of times. And
yes.
they know their content. They know the passion that comes through their words and their mannerisms and everything else. But it's all about doing it and putting yourself out there. And the more you do, the more you're going to get confident,
Sure,
And
sure.
What is it?
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say 2 points to that. One point, I always tell people to practice in the mirror, because now you get to look like an idiot with nobody around.
Yep.
So it's like once you get over your own kind of criticism and your own judgmental part of yourself, now it doesn't matter what other people think. And the second part of it is, I think a lot of it also comes down to content. Like you were alluding to people's passion when they speak.
Yep.
Passion's something that you can fake, but you can't. You can fake it, but everybody's going to pick up on it. And so if you're actually speaking about something that you actually care about and you actually enjoy and you actually like, people will pick up on that as well.
100%.
One of the things that I was taught when I was learning to become a karate instructor is if you're having fun, they're having fun. And so just portraying that and putting that message out there.
No, that's so true. And I want to shout out, we have Ken MacArthur, Nicholas Devine.
Oh, Ken's the man.
We have Lori,
What's up, Ken?
my cousin. We have Jeff Greenberg. You guys are awesome for tuning in and taking some time out of your day to check us out, because we're just, like we said, we're trying to educate. And one thing we're just talking about was public speaking. And the more you do, the more you're going to become more competent, which will become more confident. And I just like doing video.
I like that.
I did so much. I never did video before. I never did Facebook Lives before. I did a couple last year. Towards the end of the year, I did 355 videos last year. And
wow.
Just dropping that, and that's a lot of practice and lots of education, and people get to learn and know you before they know you. That's how we have a relationship just online, because I watch what you're doing, you watch what I'm doing. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty with it. And I've been doing a monthly mixer. I'm not doing it for this month and August because of the summer, but September we started up again, and I try to bring people offline. Those are online that we all know, and then you show up and it's like, wait a minute, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person, and wow, this is great. It's a good experience for everybody.
Yeah. I had that happen about 2 years ago. I joined a real estate group, an education, and one of my mentors in that group is very, very active on Facebook. And so I'm sitting there, I have 92 friends on Facebook. I wonder how I can make this work.
Yep.
So I went into all of my newfound real estate friends and just added all their friends. And then I ended up with 1,100 friends the next week.
Yep.
And then months later, I'm meeting people and they're like, hey, you're that guy. I'm like, yep, that's me.
You notice something? You just said you were just engaging or a friend requesting people you didn't know. I did that constantly. If you do it too often, you can go into Facebook jail. For those that are watching, you cannot do anything on Facebook for a couple of days. I've done it, but a lot of my people that are in my network, if I don't know you, I haven't known you yet, there's a reason why you're in my network. And I have up to 5,000, and I'm always purging those that are not giving value or negative people. We have to get rid of you, because this is a business.
Exactly.
And we're trying to help people as much as possible. And if you're not into but that's a little secret, guys. If you friend request people you don't know, they'll get to know you by what you're putting out into the world. That's a very key thing.
Exactly.
And Ryan Walsh just jumped on. He's a good guy from Hard Money Bankers. Thanks for joining, Ryan.
What's up, Bri?
You do a lot of in the real estate world, but you're in the investment side mainly.
Yep.
What are some things that you're seeing? Do you think a lot of these TV shows that are on today that people say, oh, it's so easy, I just get involved, I'll get some, get a loan, I'll find a property, and that's it, I'm going to make all this money. What are some things you're seeing from the newbies in the investment world?
I don't know, Sean. This might get a little controversial here. What kind of rating we got on this channel
We
here?
can go PG-13, I guess. I don't know. You
All
can
right.
push it. That's fine.
I'll try to. I'll hold back the F-bombs if I can. I'm just messing with you. Now, the way that I break it down is, I kind of look at. I try to make everything in my mind, just because of the way my mind works. I try to break everything down to what I call the least common denominator, which basically just means the most simple form, right? And for me, the most basic way of looking at real estate investors is I look at them in three different ways. There's three types of investors out there. There's the people that are brand new, right? Like the one-day white belts at a karate school, right? They just joined, and these are the people that literally have no to very little clue about what they're doing at all. They watched one episode of HGTV, they read one chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and now they're pulling the trigger.
Yep.
Right? They got the gun loaded, and they're just going to pull the trigger and let it go off wherever it goes off. Right? And these are the people that typically get hurt. Right? These are the people that buy a property wrong, they do something very obvious wrong with it, and they end up losing a lot of money. Then there's what I call the real estate dabblers, which are people that still have full-time jobs and a full-time career, and they might have a property here or there, or one or two. And these people are okay, or they're perceived as okay, right? This is the person that's driving around in the BMW that can't actually afford a BMW.
Yes.
Right? So these are like the keeping up with the Joneses type people. Not that, no offense to them, but it's just kind of my interpretation of it. And these people typically will get hurt later on down the road in real estate because they did something wrong, or they didn't know about X, Y, and Z. They didn't know about the tax breaks. They didn't open up an LLC. They bought everything in their personal name, and now they have no tax benefit. Like all these little details that allow you to go from good to great, so to speak, in real estate investing. And then the third level is people that do this full time, right? They make a career out of it. They make money out of it. It puts food on the table for them and their family, and it's something that they do full time as part of their business, right? And then there's people like you just had Larry Steinhaus on yesterday who have multiple businesses, right? And these are the people that the first level of investors think are crazy, right? Because they're like, oh my God, this guy's got all these businesses. What's he doing? Is he nuts? He's this, he's that, he's blah, blah, blah. But really, it's like you just get to the point where you have so much passive income coming in that you get bored.
Yep.
And then you're like, I got to do something else, and I got to do something else, and I got to do something else. And you build essentially this empire for yourself, for lack of a better term, with it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way that I like to break it down, is into those three categories, just to make it very easy for people to follow along.
No, that was all. I like the martial arts little, hints.
I do a lot of those. Yeah, little analogies. I always like to bring an analogy in for people, just so that it's easier for them to understand and comprehend.
And it's a story. You just told, basically using what you have in your past, guys. That's a good thing to help people connect, is telling stories. That's a key thing for them. So the investors, the mindset, what kind of mindsets do you think they need to have today? It's not an easy thing. And where do you get your mindset? Have you developed it over time through reading or through watching podcasts, YouTube channel videos? How do you develop yours, and then what do you think a mindset of a good investor should be today?
So mine first. So I actually am sort of kind of funny. So this is where we're going to get a little controversial here. So stay with me. So I've always had a very, very slanted view on the school system.
Yes.
In this modern day. And most people agree with me. Some people don't. And I don't know, you watch me a lot on Facebook, but lots of times I'll put a very controversial post out on my Facebook page regarding the school system. And I kind of just leave it there as like throwing gasoline on the fire, and like let it run. And people get up in arms, and they're all about this and that, blah, blah, blah. Just to kind of clarify on this channel, right? I'm not anti-school. Right. And by any means, I'm not anti-school. What I am saying is I believe that a lot of the things that we're learning in school are not necessary to most people's everyday life, right? We don't need calculus. We don't need Shakespeare. We don't need English literature and all of these crazy topics that we're learning, right? We should be learning things like communication, money, and survival.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Basic, very basic core principles. And so when I was 21 years old, funny enough, I actually wrote a book on mindset. So this is a book that I wrote. It's called The Revolutionary Mindset. And it basically describes this idea that we're all living this linear life with this mindset that we're supposed to believe, right? This way of living, this thing, you go to a job, you stay there for 40 years, you have good benefits, you retire, you collect your pension when you retire, and then you die. And I believe that the mindset of an investor or an entrepreneur is completely contradictory to all of that, which is what makes it so hard for a lot of people to grasp, right? When I was 17 years old, I was introduced to the idea of real estate investing and entrepreneurship for the very first time in my entire life. I had a teacher in school, funny enough. I was a C&D student my whole life in school, my whole life. And I misbehaved. I had ADD, like crazy. And it was very difficult for me. I struggled my whole way through grade school and through high school. I didn't go to college. And when I was 17, believe it or not, I had a teacher who I actually loved. And if you had told me at the time I would find a teacher that I actually loved, I would have punched you in the face because you would have been dead wrong. And so I had this teacher that I absolutely loved. It was an entrepreneurship class, my first ever business class that I ever took. And I didn't even know what entrepreneurship meant at the time. I just knew it was business because the prior year, the course was entitled General Business. And they just changed the name to entrepreneurship. So I'm like, all right, let me try out this business course. And this teacher was fantastic. He was actually an investor as well. And lots of days we would just go off on a discussion and leave the coursework for later.
Right.
And we spoke a lot about real estate investing. And he brought up this idea about buying a property and renting it out and using the rent money to pay for the mortgage and keeping the excess. And my mind literally blew up. Like I had to get a Tupperware bin and collect all the pieces of my brain in the room. It was like, I don't think I got any sleep that night. And so that was my first introduction to real estate. And then from there, that was my first catalyst moment, if you will. My second catalyst moment was my 18th birthday. One of my coworkers at the karate school got me a book. And he got me a book by Dave Ramsey called The Total Money Makeover. And it was my first introduction into financial literacy. And that book blew my mind when I finally picked it up and started reading it because it sat on the shelf for 2 months beforehand. And right after I read that book, I recognized that there was something else out there, but I didn't know what it was. And I wanted to find it. It was like this game of treasure hunt in my mind. And so I said, I want to find all the other books that are like this book and read all of them because that might help me find this answer. And so I read every book that's talked about under the sun. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The 10X Rule. Learned about all these people, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Robert Kiyosaki, you name it, Tony Robbins. And I dug into this world of personal development, if you will, or whatever term you may use for it. And I recognized that we're really being fed this lie in this world that we're living in. And much of it is perpetuated by the school system, in my opinion, right? They're putting you in desks the same way that you would be put in cubicles at a workplace, right? They're keeping you inside of these infrastructures the same way that you would be inside of one at the workplace. They're keeping you from 8 to 3, work keeps you from 9 to 5. They're putting you in a uniform, work puts you in a uniform, right? They're collecting attendance, you clock in at work. It's very much an employee
mentality
ecosystem. Yeah, essentially. And so it's kind of, my philosophy has kind of developed since then over the past, 6-7 years it's been, and just kind of chiseling away. It's like this marble statue. I started out with a big piece of marble and I just chiseled it away to kind of create this philosophy for myself. And so it's still growing, it's still evolving. And today I just distill all my goals down to the daily, because a lot of people are like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? I'm like, I don't know. But my plan is every day I want to make better than my last. Because that's really all our goals are. If we break them down to their smallest point, right? It's just daily growth every single day. And so that's kind of where I'm at. What was your question again?
No, it was awesome.
Did that answer it?
Yeah. The educational piece, with the mindset, that with all the reading you do, you're reading, you're digesting, and you're actually reflecting, and then using that and taking action. That's a big thing that
Yes.
people are forgetting. They might read
Yep.
something, and as you get older, you still have to make yourself better than you were before. And that's what you're doing by reading these other mentors. The Gary V's, and Grant Cardone is fantastic. Tony Robbins.
Oh,
I mean, I had Ryan Walsh. I have to make he had a comment. Current education system is really good at creating good workers, not creating leaders of industry. And that's 100% true, because like you said, you're in your desk. It's like the cubicles. You have you have a certain time frame. It's just making other worker bees. It's really what it is. And
exactly.
It's funny you said like wasn't the greatest student. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go to college today. It's something that whatever passion you're about, don't be a bum and sit on the couch. But if you have the ability and you're using your mind and you're self-motivated, entrepreneurship is the way to go. And Larry Steinhaus is a serial entrepreneur. He has 6, 7 things he's got going on that brings money in. And
at least.
And he's talking about the $100. He's got a $500 bill. He's playing around with silver and real estate in the school. It's just something that if you're passionate about and you want to get involved with things, you got to put yourself out there and try it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to fail, and you pick your ass up and you get back up and do something else. That's what you got to do,
Yep.
But people whine.
I think that people have more of a problem by not failing enough than they do. We live in this society with participation trophies today, and I have a bit of a, not to get super controversial, but I have a bit of a slanted view on funerals as well, because I feel like in some ways people are a little bit too emotional, and I'm like, sometimes here's the story that I always tell people. Okay, you have kids, right, Sean?
Yep.
So your kids, whatever, 4 or 5 years old, they're swinging on the swing set, right, at the park. They're on the swing set, swinging back and forth, and they're getting higher and higher and higher, and you're watching from 10, 20 feet away, whatever, and they're going to fall off because you're an adult and you've been there.
Right.
They're going to fall off. Do you run over and catch the swing set, or do you let them fall and help them up?
You should let them fall and help them up, and
right.
And that's with a lot of parents too. Kids will fall and they run over to them and coddle them, and that's what you're setting that kid up for a major, major failure. And they can't have. That's the problem with today with kids. They don't have that, failure. They ask a girl to the prom and they say no, and then they do something to themselves because of it. It's like, whoa, it's not worth it. Like it's just.
Or they sit in the corner and never try again.
Right. You got to things happen. And I like sales. Sales is you try and try. You have a lot of rejection. You got to deal with the rejection because the more no's you get, I think is great because you're getting that much closer to a yes for whatever you're selling.
Exactly.
It's coming. You just have to keep fighting through it. That's a key, a key thing. And we have Curtis Shaft jumped on, Frank Palumbo. We appreciate you guys. Hey, some of you, I know Ryan's been making some comments. Drop in the comments below where you're watching us, what kind of business you have, if you have a website, and hit that share button. Hit that share, the love button, that wow button. We appreciate you taking some time out and learning, because if you're learning, you're growing, and you're making yourself a better person than you were yesterday. That's kind of a gist of what we're trying to portray today. And I enjoy speaking to like-minded individuals because it's you can meet them.
Refreshing.
It's awesome. Ryan just said, failure. Everyone talks about Michael Jordan's successes, but not the thousands of shots he missed. Yeah. He has missed more shots than most people have ever taken. Ryan, that's an awesome, I don't know where you stole that from, but it was awesome.
No, Ryan sounds like a smart guy.
He's a smart
guy. He should be here. Why is he not here?
He's been on. He's
there you go.
A previous one. And but this is why we do what we do, and to dig out those information that change your mind. The mindset is key. You wrote a book. How was that process when you did it? Was it something that, can you put it on the flip side so people can see the front of it? Put it in front of your, because it's reversed. Put it behind your phone, so we'll pick it up.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
So I gotta, how do I flip this thing?
You can, there you go. Now this.
There we go.
So the revolutionary mindset.
Yep, that's me.
That's pretty.
And then we got one of these.
Where do people find that? They get that on Amazon, or is it?
Yeah. So it's available on Amazon. The easiest way to look it up is to just type my name in. Just type in Fred Posimo on Amazon, and you can pick it up there. I just ordered a bunch more copies. So if you see me in person, I'll probably have some copies on me that you can pick up.
That's awesome.
You asked me about it. Writing a book is it is an arduous process, man. It's an uphill battle both ways, but it's worth every second of it. So when I was right around the time I was 19, 20 years old, I was reading all these books, and I recognized that pretty much every one of these books is saying the same thing, but they're saying it in their own languaging.
Yeah.
Right? It's their own way of saying the same concept. And I'm like, what the hell? I can do that too. I'll just write it in my own languaging, and I'll put it this way. And then about 2-3 months later, after I kind of did the whole back and forth thing in your head like you always do, because you always have great ideas but you never execute on them, which is very human of us. I went to a jiu-jitsu seminar with this jiu-jitsu instructor who's absolutely phenomenal. I love this guy, and he does this seminar. He's a brilliant instructor, brilliant jiu-jitsu practitioner. And after the seminar, he holds these books up. So he's like, "Hey guys, I wrote a couple books on jiu-jitsu. If you want them, they're $10 each. Come grab me." I'm like, "What?" And I have this little bit of a competitive edge, so I'm like, "No. If you can write a book, I'm writing a book." And so I asked him, I'm like, "Yo, what did you do?" And Amazon owns a company called CreateSpace. I don't think it's called that anymore. I think it's KDP Publishing now or something like that. And you literally go on there. You submit your Word doc or whatever you use to write it on, whatever medium. They give you the margins. You put the margins in there. I had a friend of mine at the karate school design the cover for me. He was a Photoshop guy, so he designed that whole cover for me that way. And you throw it up on there. Amazon takes whatever, 65, 70%, something like that, but they don't charge anything for it. And, you got a book written.
That's awesome.
And so a year and a half, 2 years later, that was the one that was out. And it's actually funny. Ken MacArthur, who's on here somewhere, is a great friend of Larry's. He's an awesome guy. He's got an incredible story, that guy. But he knows every person under the sun. He's kind of like you, bit of a connector. But through him, I met a publisher at a publishing company. And I called him up. I'm like, "Hey, I want to write another book. Let's do it for real this time, blah, blah, blah." And then I started, putting different pieces together. And it ended up, I was trying to write one book, and I ended up accidentally writing 3 at the same time.
Wow.
So I got 2 of them that are coming out pretty soon, and then a third one, which is going to be a big undertaking. That's going to be a big deal coming out. I don't know when, but in the next few years, hopefully.
That is awesome.
But 2 coming out very soon.
And do you have to do all the marketing on those books, or Amazon helped you get it out there?
So Amazon puts it on mediums for me, so you can actually find it on like BarnesandNoble.com as well, and other book distribution sites that are on the internet. But other than that, Amazon has some marketing campaigns that I could run, this and that. I never really made a dollar off of any of my books. I gave out more than I've sold at this point. I wrote it for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 was I felt like I had something to say in these books, and 2 was I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
That's good. That's goals, guys.
Yeah,
that's goals.
So exactly. So, and like I said, my jiu-jitsu instructor had wrote a book, so I was like, no way. I can't let you write a book and not me. And it was kind of one of those things that validated like anybody can write a book. And it's funny now because most of my friends on Facebook have written a book at this point. And so like before I met all these people, I thought I was like this like
the one
big
and
dog,
only.
like and then they're like, "Oh, I did that too." I'm like, "Oh man." But kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. But it is such a worthy process. And after I was done writing it, I was like, when I came close to the end, I'm like, I'm never writing a book again because this sucks, right? It's like ripping your eyeballs out every day is writing a book. And as soon as I was done, I just had to start writing again. And so I don't know if you know Medium.com at all.
No, okay.
Medium.com is similar to Facebook, but it's all blogs. Everything's a blog on there. And I found it by accident, and I just started writing on there because I had this itch that I needed to scratch all the time. And you can edit everything in 15, 20 minutes, post something up there, bada bing, bada boom.
Wow.
And, I just started writing that way.
That's
And so
awesome.
it's been fun. I enjoy writing now, and I call myself a writer now, which once again in school I would have punched you in the face if you had called me a writer, because I hated reading and I hated writing growing up. And now I love both of those
That's
things.
growth right there. That's all growth. So that's awesome.
Definitely.
Now, Fred, we're running out of time, but who in my network could benefit knowing you? Are you trying to help more investors, real estate agents, business people in general? How can I help, or those in my network come to you for assistance, help?
So I've become very, very well versed in the real estate world in the past 2-3 years. And so, anybody who's looking to buy a property, even if it's a personal residence or if it's as an investment, you're trying to profit off of it by either renting it out or selling it, I definitely can guide you in the right direction. And if I don't have the answer, I know who to send you to give you the answer at least. If you're writing a book, talk to me about it, because I have experience in that area. If you're looking for, I also do a little bit of self-defense classes still, and like home defense, stuff like that. I'm still teaching a family right around the corner from where I live. I teach their whole family every week, and we go through, different scenarios and just helping them with personal awareness and self-defense and that kind of stuff. And then I think really the last area is kind of public speaking. If you want to be a speaker, you want to get up in front of the room, you can always talk to me. I'm always around, and I'm always giving out free advice. I'm here to help, and one of my favorite things in this whole world is educating. If you can't tell by my Facebook posts every day, I want to help as many people as I can. And it's kind of funny. I don't know where that came from either, but that's always been something at the core of my being, is just educating, helping, teaching, and helping people grow their mindset, grow their bank accounts and their money, and just helping them live a happier, healthier, more successful and fulfilled life.
There you have it, guys. This is the guy you got to connect with. He knows things. He's going places. One thing I would probably say with the self-defense, I know I've seen a couple agents giving out or training their real estate agents out. I know a mortgage guy that's doing some training to help agents for like during an open house. God forbid somebody comes in.
Absolutely.
That's an opportunity that maybe Fred would be interested in.
Yeah, that was a niche that I've looked into before, but kind of things just weaved and wagged and never really came to fruition. But that's definitely a big piece, getting some real estate agents, some basic training, and even just paying compliance. There's always a discussion of, I don't want to punch somebody in the face and break their nose, and the camera only caught that part of the act,
Yep.
but they didn't catch the part of the act where the guy was choking me.
Exactly.
Right? And now it's like, now you got court cases and legal fees and all that kind of stuff. There's ways of defending yourself and keeping yourself safe without needing to bludgeon the other person.
Awesome. Fred, how do they get in contact with you?
Me, one of the best ways to contact me is on Facebook. My Facebook name is Fred Posimo. That's Posimo. And then you can pretty much find me at any real estate event that's happening in Philadelphia. I worked for Larry Steinhaus at Investor Schooling. That's in Langhorne. And I'm pretty much at all of Nick Tang's events. And I'm all around, man. Send me a message on Facebook. Hit me up. I'm here to talk. I'm here to hang out. And I love meeting new people.
That's awesome.
Only if they're cool.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. And for those that are in Fred's network, if you ever need anything, check out connectionmachine.biz. Check out my YouTube channel, Connection Machine. You could always call me, 201-320-3454. I'm all about helping people with branding, video marketing, social media techniques to help you generate leads, and then also, of course, insurance. So it's just something that we're all about helping. I'd rather help before I ask for business. So that's my whole thing. That's why we do this, to help people, in general. And
Sean, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
What made you ask me to come on here, just out of curiosity?
I like the things that you were doing. I like the persona that you have online, and you had something I thought would be interesting to get to know more. And I've seen you for a long time, and I'm like, let's see if he'll just go do a live. Because some people, did we script anything? No. We talked beforehand. They say, oh, a couple topics we want to cover, and we just rolled with it. That's what usually I want to do. And but I like to just get to know people. If I can't get to Philadelphia, why not go on a Facebook Live or do a Zoom call or Facebook or FaceTime, whatever. But I rather get to know you and help other people and build a relationship that I can call you now a friend that I actually met now, which is awesome. And next time, if I'm down by you, I'll definitely hit you up. If you're around, we'll get a drink.
Absolutely.
If you're up north, I'm in Clifton. So if you're ever up in the area, definitely let me know.
Where's that at?
Clifton, New Jersey. And 20 minutes from the city, from New York. And if you're ever up here, I'll let you know. We have an event. Those Nick Tang events are awesome. I always try to stop by those. And I have one coming up in September. If you're in the area, there'll be some flyers. I have it at Public House 46.
Yeah, let me know.
If you can get up here, you get up here, and we'll definitely meet face to face then. That'll be awesome.
There you go.
Cool, man.
I love it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Fred. Have an awesome day, brother.
You the man, Sean.
Take care.
Thanks so much.
Later.
I'll talk to you. Peace.
There you have it, guys. Facebook Live 42. Fred Posimo, great guy. We learn a lot. We hope that you are going to take some action and actually make yourself a better person and work on that growth and taking action. If you're interested in doing a Facebook Live, helping you with branding, marketing, I'm actually creating a course that this is all new. I'm creating a course to help those that want to get better at video, get better at marketing, and also using social media. So if you're interested, drop it in the comments below. Hashtag I'm in, and I'll reach out to you to get you into a beta course group that I'm developing. Have yourself an awesome day.